Hello, everybody, and welcome to And Another Thing. We are here with some more short little updates, and here we go.
Number one.
In one of my recent videos, I was completely confused again by KODY'S addition of words that were unnecessary in the sentence. And that was when he said, one of my children at their admission told me that, and he was going on to explain how he found out that Janelle had left town.
One of my children at their admission slipped up and told me and then said, please don't repeat that or pretend you never heard it.
And I'm like, why did he say at their own admission? Sometimes it just makes me giggle because so often he throws in words that
he thinks
just make him sound more intelligent. And they do the opposite. One of the comments on my videos from Tina said,
He said,
one of my children at their own admission, to make it clear to Janelle and maybe the viewer too. I don't know. I'm still not convinced he understands how the cameras work and that this gets broadcast out to the nation and many other countries as well. But he wants to make it very clear he wasn't asking questions. I thought that was a really good take. Tina Robinette, kudos to you. This is very insightful. And this makes sense when we think about Kody Brown and his MO and how he's always accusing people of everything. And usually the things he accuses people of is a form of projection. It's the stuff that he's internally thinking or the things that he is actually doing himself. So he starts prying and asking questions and poking and asking all these questions until eventually a kid fesses up and admits Janelle is leaving, or mom is leaving, or Janelle left, or mom left. I don't know the exact timeline of when he found out, but I think he didn't want to get himself in trouble because he always accuses everybody else of asking all kinds of questions about him and spreading rumors about him and talking about him. And we have heard both. I know we heard Christine say it. We heard it from somebody else. I'm trying to think if it was Janelle or Mary now, because I can picture both of them saying this, but I think only one of them said it. Maybe you can write down below if you remember who it was. But definitely Christine said, and one other wife has said, I think about Kody a lot less than he thinks I think about him. And I think it's because he's constantly thinking about all of them, and being as egocentric as he is, he's just assuming that they're always thinking about him too, but they're not. So he's prying, but claiming he doesn't care and he's not asking questions at all. Therefore, in this interview, when he started saying, I don't think I was supposed to know about this, and now he's starting to second guess what he's saying to the producers here and thinking, oh, this isn't going to look good because now they're going to know that I was asking questions about it. So what can I say to make it clear that I wasn't asking questions, that this information just came out? So I'll just say one of my children at their own admission said she was moving or said that she was leaving. That is so plausible. That is really, really plausible. Still a poorly worded sentence, but I'm starting to think that could be his intent. There could be more to this whole story right in this one sentence than what I was even trying to break down before.
Absolutely brilliant.
I think it was his way of covering his tracks for bringing it up and asking the kids about, well, what's going on? Well, why are you here? Well, what's Janelle doing? Well, what do you mean you're not over there now? Or what do you mean you were there before? Or what do you mean you're not going to be there at this time? Or what do you mean she'll be in North Carolina then? Why won't she be here then? Why can't you go visit her then? Like just probing until they eventually said, well, she's gone, Dad. She's moved. She's in North Carolina. Bum, bum, bum. What do you think?
You might be onto something.
Number two.
While we're on the topic of Kody and his language, every now and then somebody will write in the comments, oh my gosh, if you heard the way I spoke, you'd be appalled.
That's enough with that. Stop right there.
Not at all. Not at all. And some people were even saying, my accent, you wouldn't like my accent. I love your accent. Somebody said they had a Southern accent and it would probably drive me crazy. One of my dearest friends, Lynn, has got the greatest Southern accent. She's from somewhere in Kentucky. Love her to death. Love her accent. This is Kody Brown. Kody, everything he says and does and everything he looks like gets on my nerves.
Me too.
Because of all the things he said and all his behaviors through the years. So, this is a man who has chosen to receive millions of dollars from a television network to put himself out there on this stage. And he does so in a manner of arrogance with an ego that is beyond. And because he thinks he is all that, I have to just point out when he's not. It brings me a little bit of joy. Do I do it with my neighbors, my friends, strangers on the street? No, I don't care. I mean, every now and then do things bother me? Yes. Barbara Walters and her R problem, it was difficult to listen to. But that's probably my own personal hang up because I had a difficult time with R's myself. And it took me a long time to work through it. So I think I have a personal hang up on the R. I work with kids that have speech impairments all day long. They don't bother me. Oh, it's kind of funny to think about it. Hey kid, what you doing? What you lisping for? Another lisp, another tongue thrust, another stutterer. When are they gonna end? No. Doesn't bug me. And quite frankly, I talk so much. I have over 200 videos on this channel and a lot of live streams. Go through it, you can probably find 500 mistakes, if not more. Tripping over my speech, mispronouncing things, saying things incorrectly, using the wrong word. I do it too. We all do it. Would not bother me. So put that to rest. If I ever run across you on the street, do not go the other way. Make a point to say hello. I'm not going to think twice about it. But Kody, it's a whole nother thing. And of course, there are some speech patterns that this family does that just makes it kind of fun to poke fun at, right? I am not the only one that points out that this is a big picture. And a big picture is looking at the grander scheme of things. But I'm not the only one that does that. Look at every channel. I guarantee you I'm not the only one that points that one out. I love that line. And sometimes his refusal to say long vowel sounds, as well as the other wives, it's really baffling to me. It's got to be a regional thing. I don't think it's their family thing. But because he used the same words over and over again, gotta point it out. And again, I can guarantee you I'm not the only one that points out that it's a big deal, not a big deal. And you eat a meal, not a mill. You feel something. You don't feel something. And finally, I'll just mention the last one while we're at it. Kody Pass. Kody Pass. Kody Pass. Kody Pass. Kody Pass. One of my favorites, actually. Kody Pass. What are we going to do about Kody Pass? All right. Makes me giggle. So fear not. If we ever have some sister friends get-togethers, you walk in with English as your second language and a Southern accent, a lisp, and an inability to pronounce TH sounds. I don't care. It would probably actually be cute to me. But Kody gets on my nerves. And then sometimes I'll point it out with the sister wives too, just simply because guilty by association. I'm sorry. Okay, moving on.
Number 3!
So what I started saying was there was a comment that I want to read to you from a sister friend from Finland. I'm sure I'll slaughter her name. There you go. Saying it right up front. I believe her name is Anu Gilston, and she wrote, "Hi," with a whole bunch of emojis. "I'm your new fan from Finland, and I just wanted to say that I love your style in your videos, programs, and episodes." And then she wrote, "I hope you can understand what I mean with my not so good English." And then a bunch of hearts and other emojis too. And I laughed because I thought I understood every word so clearly. Not only was it all correct, the meaning came across, the grammar was correct, her spelling was even correct. We don't even know about Cody's spelling. One could guess, but anyway, made me laugh when I read it and I wanted to share it with everyone. I was just going to put it at the end of one of my live streams when I read funny comments from viewers, but I thought I'd put it in here for everyone to enjoy. That Anu from Finland, who has English as a second language and does not live in an English-speaking country, although I know they speak a lot of English in Finland, nevertheless, it's not their first language, did a far superior job of communicating. Kudos, Anu. Let's just do a TLC update, which I don't really have much to say in terms of this update, but I just wanted to inform everybody who have been asking about the bonus scene episodes and wanting me to do more recaps of the bonus scene episodes of episodes 9 up until current. There aren't any.
Bummer.
I really thought in this hiatus time, and it might still happen, that TLC would be releasing them now before their spring season starts. But so far, nothing. After the first 4 episodes, they dropped all on the same evening the More to Love bonus scene episodes for all 4 of episodes 1, 2, 3, and 4. Boom, all that evening. So all 4 were dropped that evening. And then there were none until after episode 8. And then boom, they dropped 4 more that evening. Or some evening after the 8th episode was aired. So I naturally assumed that after episode 12, we'd get 4 more.
You would think.
And after episode 16, 4 more.
You would think.
But we've had nothing. Absolutely nothing. So sad. So I thought maybe in this hiatus, we might be getting More to Love bonus scene episodes to kind of fill in the gaps. If they do, I will create some more of my bonus scenes episodes where I literally just pull out the extra bonus scene footage and show as much of it as I can and talk about it and get that out to you.
Number 5!
That being said, I have heard that Australia and the UK, your versions of these episodes have more in them than ours do, possibly because we have more commercials than you do. So to make up for that, they're airing either some additional local commercials in your area, but then also you have extended footage. And it appears that your extended footage is quite good. Now, maybe it's going to show up in these More to Love bonus scene episodes and we're going to see it anyway. But in the meantime, anybody wants to post it on a YouTube channel privately and send me the link, you can create your own YouTube channel. You're not monetizing it, so there's no worries about copyright or anything like that. And you can keep it private and just send me a link to it so it doesn't even go out. Just record the episode and I'll watch it and see what extra stuff is in there compared to what we have. Because from what I've heard, there's some good stuff. I'm shocked that they would have such good stuff in the other countries and not in America.
Not fair.
And there's a lot of hypotheses about that regarding maybe they're trying to protect Cody and not put that out in America. I just find that hard to believe. I think they're on to Cody. I don't think they're trying to protect him anymore. I'm trying to think what the other hypothesis was that I heard out there. I can't remember. But what I didn't hear, but I'm thinking is that maybe in America they're holding on to it for bonus scene episodes. Although if they don't get them out soon, people aren't going to care.
Am I right or am I right or am I right? Right.
When is TLC going to learn? You can't keep dragging your feet and holding on to footage before getting it out to us. Already. Episode 9, what happened in episode 9? We haven't seen any bonus scene footage from episode 9 yet.
Wasn't that 6 years ago?
Puddle monkey. Get it together. When will they learn?
So, number 6?
Sarah Lewis sent me an email today telling me that she was laughing because she was watching one of my episodes and a commercial came up and she's looking at the commercial and watching it. And it was a commercial for David Yurman. Can you believe it? Talk about AI listening to everything you're saying. I do believe I've used his name, and I've even used an advertisement from the website once when I was showing how expensive his pendant is that he wears. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep, that's David Yerman. He's advertising on my site. I don't know how many sales they're gonna get, but maybe. Remember the big horsey ring too? David Yerman. See, look how many times I'm saying his name. Free advertising I just gave him. You're welcome, David. You can send me a piece of jewelry and I will wear it and say David Yerman personally sent this to me and I will wear it on this channel. Yes, I will, David. But make it pretty. Okay. Okay, thanks. No horsey rings.
Number 7.
All right, a note that I had written down after I had been recording the episode where they were painting the bottom of one picnic table before the PAs at TLC finished the job.
Allegedly.
When I was going back and doing the editing in that, I just made a note to myself that I thought, as I'm watching it, Robyn's reaction when the table slightly slipped and made a noise that shifted slightly on the ground was like the world was crashing down. Whoa. First of all, she made a big to-do about flipping it over. Oh, I don't know. Do you think we should flip? I don't know. Are they going to be? First of all, they look solid. Her dad looks like he made a solid picnic table. I don't understand the concern on why flipping it over, why she thought it was going to crumble into dust. No idea. Second of all, let's say, hypothetically, a crack happened. It's repairable. It's wood. Put some wood glue in there with a clamp. You're good. Drive a nail or a screw through it for some extra reinforcement. All done. You don't have to throw the whole picnic table away. Also, let's just point out the fact they've had the tables for a decade and have never refinished, sanded, or painted them since they first got them. So in terms of, oh, I'm so worried about it falling apart and, oh, we have to be so careful. Why?
We should tip it over, Robyn, and do the bottom first and then paint it.
I just don't know how sturdy the tables still are.
Well, if you cared that much, don't you think that maybe after 2 or 3 years, maybe you'd go out there and throw another layer of lacquer on it or another layer of paint? Maybe check and see if there's any cracks in it already and try to repair them? I don't know. Her behavior is not matching up with her behavior. You see what I'm saying?
Explain yourself.
We have a decade of behavior of her completely neglecting these picnic tables. And now her freaking out over, don't turn it over. It might crack. It might break. It may blow up in flames. I don't know. Oh. And then when they're turning it over and it makes a normal sound as it would as you're shifting it on the dirt. He even said, oh, it was a rock under there. No, it's just the sound of the dirt and the rough Coyote Pass gravelly kind of ground that's there. Not very fertile. As they were turning it on that side.
Now, Mom, you ought to catch it. What? Okay.
All of a sudden it makes this crack and I'm just like, oh my gosh, this table's gonna fall apart.
What was that noise?
It was on a rock and it just slipped off.
Okay. Oh, it scared me to death.
Nothing about that sound was alarming whatsoever. And she freaked out. Was it all just for the camera? Was it to try to be a victim? Was it try to create a storyline? I have this incredibly special memory and very special table. I was so worried that it was broken.
Oh, it scared me to death.
The histrionics of this woman, the extreme exaggerations to everything. Does she act like this on the daily? Is this for filming or not? Because we then literally went to a talking head interview and was interviewing her about the situation when she heard said noise.
Oh, spare me.
And what she was thinking and feeling and how frightening it was in that moment. Not. Let's jump forward to the end of that episode. Kody's talking about these picnic tables next spring and how he needs to paint them again. You think that's a good idea? Okay. I mean, you haven't done it for a decade.
Or more.
It sounds very Cody too. I'll wait 10 years to do it. And then now we must do it every year. Okay. It's like one extreme or another. It just seems very Cody, doesn't it? It's like, okay, no, it's good to do it every year. That's great. But okay. Like I'm thinking there's probably 99 other projects that are sort of like this picnic table that have been sitting idle for a decade that he can draw his attention to, that he doesn't have to go back to the freshly painted picnic tables and paint them again. But that's fine. If Cody's doing any kind of work, we should just applaud him and say, good job, Cody, good job.
Good boy, good boy, good boy.
So he goes on to say, next spring, I'm going to put another coat of paint on all of these. And Robin does her Eeyore, oh, I don't know if we're going to be here next spring. Okay. So you're saying you are not going to take these picnic tables that we had to do all the flashbacks on why Uncle Daddy was so important to us in our lives and how special the bond was, how important these picnic tables are because he made them for you, how you almost had a heart attack over the little noise that was made when you were flipping them over. Those picnic tables, you're just leaving at Coyote Pass when you don't have the property anymore. You're not taking them to your home, because if you were taking them with you, the painting of them would still apply. Now, if they're not yours anymore, if they're sold with the land, I guess, they wouldn't apply. Do you see how the things she says make no sense? They just don't line up. Here are the picnic tables we never heard anything about before. But now a decade later, the most important things in the world. But then for 10 years, we haven't done anything to them or tried to preserve them, sand them, repaint them, touch them up, nothing. But I'm going to have a heart attack if it cracks. But if we move, we're going to leave them on Coyote Pass. So it's so sad if we don't have Coyote Pass next year. There'll be no need to paint the picnic tables. Cody logic is turning into Robin logic. Of course, he doesn't say, well, these picnic tables are very important to you, Robin. So we'll take them with us. Even if we don't move, we'll take them to our house. We can carry them down the road 2 houses away. We don't even have to get a truck to put them in. Although Cody would probably purchase a whole nother truck with a very, very, very large flatbed in the back just to move them down the road.
All money is spending money.
That's manual labor. We cannot expect the tenderlings to have to use their muscles that far all the way down the road. That would be not right. We have a family of 5 that can't do more than paint the underside of a picnic table, mind you.
Lucky number 8.
Since I mentioned Uncle Daddy, let me talk about Uncle Daddy for a second. Now, in case you're new and haven't seen the past couple episodes, Uncle Daddy is neither an uncle nor a daddy, but Robin calls him both. Okay, so Uncle Daddy is... okay, look, I have to think about it before I explain it. Robin's biological daddy out of the picture. I'm starting to think that there is a possibility that maybe, possibly, hypothetically, I don't know, allegedly, Robin's mother, Alice, may have already been friendly with this Paul man. Did they have anything to do with the divorce? I don't know. And I have no proof that she knew Paul before her husband left. Just saying. No proof. I'm just doing my 2 + 2 when it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck. Might be a duck. But not always. Could be some exotic bird with something stuck in its throat, so we don't know. Okay, so now to explain again, Uncle Daddy, this Paul man who is married to another lady becomes very close with Robin's mom, to the point that her kids, Robin and her siblings, are calling him Uncle Paul.
Before he was dad to me, he was Uncle Paul. Whoa, really? Yeah, he wasn't my uncle.
So he was Uncle Paul for I don't know how long. Maybe even before she got divorced, for all we know. I don't know. She didn't say. But it was Uncle Paul. And then apparently Uncle Paul's wife said to Robin's mom, don't you think he'd make a great husband? Lies, 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 lies. Okay, that's not part of this. So Uncle Paul spiritually marries Alice. Uncle Paul's wife was so enthralled with the idea of Alice and her kids joining the family that she is living in Las Vegas and Alice and Robin and the kids are living in Utah. And never shall the two wives live together, even in the same state, nor less the same house. Okay. But what I just learned through McKelty's Patreon, when Uncle Paul became Daddy Paul, which is kind of confusing, so we're just calling him Uncle Daddy, he stayed with wife number 1 and all of her kids in Las Vegas. I don't know if he was living there at that time. That I don't know. I don't know the timeline of all of this. You sleuths, you can figure it out for me. Figure out exactly when they met and when they moved. I feel like they may have met in Montana. That's where Alice originally was from, but I don't know for certain. Anyway, not that it really matters. In the end, we know Alice is in St. George, Utah. I believe Uncle Daddy's wife's name was Linda, and her kids lived in Las Vegas. Now, Uncle Daddy also had a land surveyor business in Las Vegas. So the fact that Robyn and all the Brown family moved to Las Vegas is just such an amazing coincidence, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
She moved closer to Uncle Daddy. All right, the most important part. The reason I tell you all this, because a lot of you are like, yes, I know that, Jenny. What is new? And this might not be new to you either, but it was to me. As soon as Uncle Daddy retired, he up and left Linda, wife number 1 that he'd been with all this time, packed up and moved to Utah and spent the rest of his life with Alice in Utah. As soon as he retired, he was like, see ya, I'm out. I was only staying with you because this is where my job was. I'm going to the other wife that I picked up along the way.
That's rich.
That could not have made wife number 1 feel that good. Okay, that's all I have.
Number nine.
I'm just looking back at my notes. Usually I just write little bullet points. This is what I wrote. I kind of went on and on and on about the picnic table and Robyn's reaction. I'll just read what I wrote. Why such a fuss over the noise when the table slipped when you were flipping it? More dramatics just for the camera? Unable to cope with the little setbacks in life? Seriously? You haven't cared for this table in over a decade. Now you're scared that it might crack or break when you have to flip it? Were you wanting production to take care of that after you left? Do you not understand that there's such a thing as wood glue, nails, screws, and even possibly just replacing a board? A crack in a board does not make the whole table bad. Robyn just needs to complain. Complain that it might crack. Complain about what was that noise? Complain afterwards when she realizes that it was nothing, but she thought it was a big deal back at the time. We're on to your histrionics and we're over them, Robyn. Pick a new personality trait that's not so annoying to us viewers. This is a PSA for Robyn. People might actually like you a little bit more if you complain a little less. The more you know. Oh, goodness. I had a bee in my bonnet that day, didn't I?
Number 10 would be...
This is a comment from a viewer that I thought was really insightful. Remember back to the Platts plot? I don't know why it's so difficult for me. Yeah, see, I get it wrong all the time. Platts plot, I think it was called. Okay, big orange container in the middle of no man's land. Who was it that said this? Christian Knack said, maybe Janelle leaving this necklace and the note in there was her official way of divorcing Kody. You know how she hates the word divorce, how she doesn't want to go to the church and do anything official. I think she's caught up on the word divorce because she's been divorced in the past, legally divorced in the past when she was married outside of the AUB faith, when she was LDS. And so I think she doesn't like the idea of having 2 divorces on her record. So she's just going to be like, well, we never officially got married, so I don't have to officially get divorced. But a release from the church isn't an official divorce. So I feel like Kristen might have a really good point here. that this was her cathartic release. This was her cathartic divorce, leaving it in the plot's plot. What do you think? This writing the note was her signing the divorce papers. Possibly.
Number
11.
11.
Let's leave it on a fun one. In the one video, when I was talking about, and it may have actually just been, this might be referencing back to the beginning of this video when I was talking about how Kody added the their admission. And I'm like, what? And I'm pretty sure that because he talks so strangely so often that it could be multiple different times. But I believe it was that line where I felt like we stop, we pause, we throw in extra words that don't belong there. And it feels like this is like him talking if we were to visually demonstrate his speech patterns. It's the same thing with the Romance languages, with, the grammatical structures are different. That's what it sounds like when Kody speaks. But it isn't an actual second language. There's no other language I know that what he says matches up with, because it's inconsistent. Sometimes he throws extra adjectives in that aren't necessary. Sometimes words are just in different places that they don't need to be. Sometimes, like this, he throws a phrase in there that's unnecessary. It's just odd. It's just odd and awkward and kind of uncomfortable. It's like his sentences feel like this. And they should just flow. And they don't. Like there's a short, they need a new battery or something. I don't know. Something's off. That's all I know. Something's off. All right, let's go on. Underneath that video, somebody said, "Oh my gosh, Kody talks like he dances." So good. Oh wait, I should acknowledge who said that. Moogie. It was Moogie. Moogie was a good comment. You remember? I mean, Kody dances like Elaine Bennis in Seinfeld. Whoa! That's his speech patterns too. I guess it goes together. Now it all makes sense to me. That's all we're going to do for this episode of And Another Thing. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching these, especially all the way to the end. I appreciate you. I'll be back with more. Have a great day. Take care. Love you all, sister friends. Goodbye.
Fancy.